and welcome to A Gem of a Secret podcast. My name is Donatella My Secrets.
And my name is Coco Gem Holiday.
How you doing today, Coco?
I'm doing great, actually. I just, over the last couple of days, I've been really getting into my new position as event manager over at Local Lounge.
Yeah, and how's that going?
It's actually going really well. It's new and it's different. I feel really busy. I like having responsibility. It makes me feel accountable.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm finally finding my groove. But over the last 2 days, was my husband's birthday.
Yeah.
So that was actually really cool.
We got to go to Seaside and have a fire on the beach. It was nice.
It was great. It was actually a really relaxing trip, to be honest.
It was a good time.
It was a good time to get away.
Yeah. So with doing the event managing at Local, you've got to have these viewing parties every week for RuPaul's Drag Race. What has that been like, having to be at a viewing party every week instead of just being able to sit down and watch the episode right when it airs?
Hectic.
Yeah.
Really hectic. I really only catch like bits and pieces. I normally watch the lip sync, but like other times, like I'm trying to like coordinate with talent and like I'm walking around and I'm mingling, or we're like giving out jello shots or like however you want to do it. Like it's just, it's kind of a mess. So I never really actually like know any of the drama or the things that people say or laugh about. Like I'll hear about it like later and I'm like, I was watching the episode. I did not catch what you were talking about.
So you have to rewatch it later to get a better idea of what was going on.
Kind of a waste of time. I'm like so mad about that.
Yeah. I think that there's a certain amount of fun that comes with going to a viewing party. But also if you're really into the episodes like me and you're like trying to like sit down and watch and like retain what's going on, then it's not the best environment. But it's great if you're going to see some queens perform and get out for a little bit, which in these times, of course, we are encouraging that you only do if you're comfortable and safe doing so.
Yeah. Social distancing is a must, and if you do come to Local to watch the viewing party with me and Autumn Rain's Heart and our rotating cast, obviously you're going to social distance and wear masks.
Yes.
So, so let's get into the episode.
Yeah, so this episode is the first episode that has an elimination, and we'll get into that later. But we learn from let's talk about how the most important thing that happened this episode that was like the juicy drama was that these two teams got to meet up together.
Oh yeah.
So what do they keep referring to themselves as?
The winner circle.
The A squad and the B squad, or the winner circle. Yeah.
Gosh, so stupid. And I think what's interesting about that is so we know that a lot of the stuff is made up, like to a degree, but they haven't actually worked together except for like filming promo. And then you also have to imagine, from what Pearl said, and a couple of other Drag Race girls, they are like sworn to sworn to silence. Yeah, like they're not allowed to talk.
Sequestered.
Yeah, even when they're around each other, if the cameras aren't rolling, because they want it all to be really organic and natural. Yeah, and so I guess this could be like their true like first meet outside of like, oh, where's the bathroom? Like,
yeah, definitely. And with everything that happened with Elliot in that episode, where the B squad or the other girls were asked to basically vote someone out based off of first impressions, the other side decides to have Elliot hide from them and question the other side about what happened with Elliot.
I know, it's so terrible. I remember later in the episode, Rue had asked Utica and Denali, I believe, like, why Elliot with 2 T's? And Utica said, I feel like I have positive energy and they come off really cold. I was like, wow, that is a bold thing to say to a person you barely know.
I feel like the only reason why Utica got that idea was because the other entertainers, when they said that they voted for Utica to stay over Elliot, was because when someone dropped something, Utica quickly went and grabbed it for someone and showed that she was kind. And that was like the first impression they had of her being like kind and nice. So that's why Elliot was unanimously voted out over Utica.
That's
because
interesting.
In the little interaction they got, Utica was the first one to jump and help someone, while Elliot kind of kept to themselves, I suppose.
That makes sense, actually.
So after learning that Elliot, in fact, did not leave and reveals herself, the queens are kind of gooped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also, I mean, I love video editing and that video production in that capacity, because I just like that's actually, I wonder if how good of a job they did with that. hiding that Elliot really didn't just go back to the hotel.
I'm sure they did. I'm
I
sure
think
that
they
they were
probably
pretty
did.
surprised that Elliot was still there
Yeah,
when
actually. Yeah.
she came out.
Yeah, because that would have been easy enough to do.
It would have.
Because honestly, they know that she's still there in the hotel for a week until she goes home.
Yeah.
If she got eliminated.
She's still got to film promos.
Yeah, producers.
Yeah. So I would be feeling away if I was Elliot for sure. Because if I got voted out solely based on first impressions, I'd be like, gosh, I don't leave a great first impression. So what is this all about?
Yeah, that would be toxic as hell. Come to think of it, when you think about it that way, she didn't actually get to show any of herself, really.
No, just a look and a few interactions in the pork chop loading lounge, but really,
While they're just sitting there to be told to wait.
yeah,
So I mean, they might be chit chatting.
they might be a little
but
bit. We didn't get to see much of it.
No.
If
Yeah,
they
that's
did,
those y'all are terrible.
those producers are messy.
Yeah.
So Tamisha and Elliot kind of have it out because I guess Tamisha's the one that's kind of speaking for the group when they are talking about why Elliot got voted out. So they kind of have like a little back and forth there, and we learn really quick that Tamisha's like, I'm not the one to come for. I'll rip your head off if you come for me.
It's kind of what I got from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on. And then this episode is our first, I think Donna said it, our first acting challenge episode, which I have to always say, like, this would not be where I would shine. And let me say it specifically this way. I can get through like a couple of lines and make a fool of myself if necessary.
Yeah.
But I can't get through a lot of lines. Like I would be the girl who would have to ask for like line, where's my script? And a lot of times they'll let something slide if you say it a different way.
Yeah.
But sometimes when they want a certain line, they want you to say it exactly as it's written, and that would be where I would lose it.
Yeah.
I would be like, I just like, my brain doesn't work that way.
I like to think that I would do well in an acting challenge, but I have not done theater for many years, so I haven't had to memorize a script for a long time. And also, I feel like nerves would be something that I'd have to overcome in that moment.
Yeah.
And so the lack of experience in acting recently plus the nerves could end up sabotaging me. It'd have to be entirely situational. Like
Right.
I'd have to like feel it out as it happened. But I also do nowadays have nightmares about having to memorize scripts even though I haven't acted in years. So maybe that's like something showing me that I would have some issues during something like that.
Oh, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So before we get into the team names and everything, we're going to talk about that viral moment that happened with Utica and Rue, because, oh my gosh, it makes me laugh so much. I've watched it like 100 times. It's so bad. Because Utica's character on her team is supposed to be like this hippie pot smoking stoner. And so Rue had basically asked Utica, have you ever smoked pot before? And Utica
initially was gonna do like an affirmation, and then I think she remembered that she's like from a very religious family and realized that she wanted to give more of like a PG response or like. And then it turned into something else where she's just making faces directly at the camera.
And it reminds me of those scenes from like The Office, and like where Jim looks at the camera.
The fourth wall breaks.
Yeah. The smile at the camera, then the looking up at the camera, and
posing,
then turning around. Oh, so funny.
I had to watch it over and over again.
Oh my
and then
God.
Rue's laugh just added to how much I was laughing at it because she was dying from it.
Oh God, it was so funny.
Yeah. Meanwhile, her entire team's just like looking at Utica laughing too. Because
they're like, what's she doing?
What is going on? Gottmik is confused from the other side of the room looking around like, why is RuPaul freaking out right now?
And actually, something I did notice too is about production and stuff like that. Just because now I pick up on that stuff after being on Camp Wanakiki.
Yeah.
Is that they obviously place all the girls. Like, they're all sitting very close to where they're not really working because they couldn't. Yeah. They put all the girls close in a good camera shot to where Rue can be seen at an angle, they can be seen at a different angle. So they can get two camera and whatever. And then they have their close-up cameras. And so, like, it just is interesting to me that, like, it goes from scene to scene to scene. Because it's like, I don't know, it's like a movie a little bit. Like, all of these things are very staged.
Yeah.
Even though the reactions are real, like, the placements are staged.
Definitely. definitely.
So going into the challenge, actually, was that the only thing that was interesting? Oh, Tina Burner and Rose, I believe, were the ones who had acting backgrounds.
Acting experience, and they've kind of also been set up from previous episodes to have a bit of a rivalry. Like they don't always work together, or maybe butt heads a little bit. Tina didn't seem to have, out of all the New York girls there, Rose seems to be the one that Tina doesn't have the most positive feelings about. And it's not even like particularly negative, but it's more so that I think Tina definitely sees Rose as competition, and we're going to see them kind of clash a little bit throughout the season because they're looking at each other pretty heavily as competition currently.
Yeah, I could see that. I can definitely see that. It's funny because I'll just spoiler alert. Nothing comes of that rivalry in this episode. They just point it out.
They just point it out. So I think they're building up to it.
Yeah,
I think
there must be something.
They're probably going to lip sync against one another at some point.
Oh, that would make more sense.
Yeah.
So the three teams were Misery Loves Company, God Loves Flags, and April Fool's Rush In.
Yes.
Yes.
So the concept is to make these parodies of Hallmark movies, which if you've ever seen a Hallmark movie, they're ridiculous, and they're usually starring one of your main sitcom stars of the 90s / 2000s, or some child star that is, you haven't seen in a while.
Right.
That is all of a sudden having the starring lead in this cheesy movie. And they all kind of have similar plot lines. They're all,
just somebody who doesn't believe in love or Valentine's Day or whatever.
Yeah.
It's very typical.
Career woman.
I
don't have time for love.
I don't have time for love.
My job is my love.
Oh gosh. And so the first group I believe is God Loves Flags. No, God Loves Flags was second.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about God Loves Flags anyway. Just because it's on my mind.
Yeah.
So Lala Ree.
Yeah.
Did terrible.
She did. She did. I was confused why she was not in the bottom two this episode.
I think it's because she had most of her lines. I actually think that was it, and then she probably executed the lines fine. Just she wasn't. The characterization was terrible.
There was no characterization really.
No, it was very bad.
It was flat. It was just a very flat performance. Everyone else in the group I thought did really well.
Yeah, I did too. Mm-hmm. I think that because they try to make that like over dramatize what's actually happening in the moment a little bit, because like when it goes to like screen, it's like not as bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then I guess spoiler alert: Jeffrey Boyer Chapman is in each of the skits.
All of a sudden appears as the prince in each of the skits.
I don't know. What was the fanciful thing in God Loves Flags? Was it the gnome or was it?
It was the gnome.
It was the gnome.
Yeah, played by Rose.
Oh gosh, the gnome was so ridiculous.
The finger stuck, because they have to have some sort of, so there's a dike, and like the dike in the sense of like a dam.
Oh.
And he had his finger stuck in the dike in the dam. So of course it's a play on words because it's Drag Race, and they have to, include this LGBT plus language into the
for the love of ridiculousness. I have to say that Jeffrey Boyer Chapman is just not the greatest actor for me. Like, no. I don't feel like he serves lines well enough, and I'm a terrible actor, but he throws me out every time.
You mean in American Horror Story Apocalypse when he said, "The stew is stew"? You weren't convinced that he was an Oscar-worthy actor?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, I wasn't. It's not a thing that happened.
Or his romance with Rupaul in All Stars 4, I think it was.
Oh, the cringiest moment of the world?
Yeah, very much.
The almost kiss thing?
Yeah, very that.
Oh gosh, that was... And the funny thing is, I've heard from people who've worked with him that he's like the nicest person, but it's just, in my opinion, it's not translating well to screen. Because even when we started watching Canada's Drag Race, I was so infatuated with how gorgeous he is.
Yeah,
like he is beautiful.
He really is.
And like, but those lines, oh heavens,
yeah. Who did we felt did good in that group? I thought Symone. I loved Victory.
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 Victory. Victory. Can't even say it. Victory. I love Godless. Like, victory.
Yeah.
They even Ross was finally, he just went for it. He's like, you say the stupidest things. So funny. Yeah, she did do good. And she also, it's editing.
Yeah.
But it sounded like she knew most of her lines.
Yeah.
Like she didn't have to like stumble too much.
No.
And she was like serving it to us the whole way. It was just
Consistent.
it was honestly herself in a character. I mean, that's all it was.
Yeah.
Which it's so nice in Drag Race when you get that to where you're like, ooh, I can put just who I am.
Yeah.
Just maybe a little example.
So you're able to bring some
amplified.
authenticity to the character.
Yeah. Victory.
Victory.
Victory. Yeah, but poor Lala Ree for that.
Yeah, she didn't do great. What was so what were the other ones? I honestly, I don't remember. You're going to have to kind of refresh my memory on some of them. Coco's fresh off of just watching the episode.
Misery Loves Company, and I think that's funny in the sense of the title.
Was that the one with the tree?
Yes, that was the tree. And...
Oh, God.
Oh,
I didn't
heaven.
understand how she couldn't get
Hall. And I get it. Inflection is sometimes actually difficult.
It is.
When you're nervous and you're anxious. Because, like when you're at a job, right? And people blame it on micromanaging, but there's also this anxiety aspect for when somebody tells you to do something. Micromanaging, you get it wrong because you're anxious. And then you keep getting it wrong and they keep micromanaging. You're building up your anxiety. And so I think that was a true case of that.
Yeah.
To where Ross was like, you're not doing it great. Do it better. And she's like trying to do it better, but her mind's just like the anxiety is just killing her.
It's happened many times with queens on the show before. I remember specifically it happened with Nina Bonina Brown during her season for the 90210 challenge.
Oh, right.
When she had to say this line, where are all the hot guys at this school? And she kept saying, where are the hot guys at this school? And it just was not sounding natural.
Where are all the hot guys at the school?
Yeah. It's like, where are the hot guys at the school? Like it's a question.
And honestly, I like that even Ross broke the little RuPaul demeanor a little bit by saying, this is supposed to be a play on the line that Tyra says.
Yeah.
Like, we're all rooting for you.
How dare you?
Yeah. Like, how dare you? Like, that's what the line's from.
We're rooting for you.
And Ross even says that. And that would have immediately clicked my line to where I would have just probably said it exactly the way
how
Tyra did.
Yeah.
And just gone about it that way.
Work that way
and also it's a pop culture thing. And if she wasn't aware of that, then it wouldn't have helped anyway.
I feel like you have to be living under a rock to not be aware of that.
You're the one who showed me. But
really?
I didn't, because top model's not my thing.
Oh, I was obsessed with that as a kid. How my parents did not know I was a complete and utter gay. Because I used to watch top model marathons with my sister. And my mom, I remember her one time, she was just like, you like this show? And I was like, yeah, I love this show. What are you talking about?
I love this show. What's wrong? This is great. I love it.
This is pure entertainment.
Oh, yeah. Oh, goodness. But no, that's when... You're kind of right, though. I mean, she might have not known about it, but like that was... So Kimora played a tree. And then I think Olivia Lux made a comment about she was in full body to be a tree.
Yeah.
And she's like, why?
Kimora's in full body to be a tree.
Like even Olivia being as thin, because I always say that bodies like sometimes hurt really bad for bigger people. But Olivia Lux, who's not that big, but wears obviously bigger body, was like, why would you do that? How dare you? Like she's like, all you had to do was paint your stupid face. Seriously, there was no other parts for Kimora outside of her face.
There were.
Oh, she hit her with a tree branch at the end.
Oh yeah,
but but the whole lines were just awful.
I thought Olivia Lux did a good job during this challenge too.
She did really good as like the mom playing the grandma or whatever, playing with roses or whatever her character was supposed to be doing, and her lines were fine.
Yeah,
I mean she was just fine. Yeah. Like that was for me. Like I think she did good, but she was just also just fine.
So Denali was also in this group too, right?
Yes.
And they said that with Denali, was it this group that Denali was in?
I'm pretty sure as the main girl.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm trying to remember because the other one was April Fool's Russian, and that had Joey J in it.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly how it. I mean, I could totally be getting this wrong. It's been a couple days since I watched this episode.
Denali didn't do great.
No. And I not necessarily as flat as of a performance as La La
No.
Ree, but more so just it was kind of, I think as the group leader, you need to be able to carry the performance.
Yeah, like because it's supposed to be like what, like the what a dump, like that
Yeah,
line or
yeah,
whatever.
the
You know,
characterizations of Betty Davis.
yes,
Yeah,
exactly, and that was kind of the issue that I saw too. But the other thing is like even though I didn't really know that line, Drag Race is about like what Kandy Muse
references.
did, like just overacting the part to the
Yeah.
point
Oh,
of
that
where
too.
you're
Yeah.
humiliating yourself beyond reason.
Yeah.
Like it's literally. It's like honestly, acting challenges on Drag Race are how much can I embarrass and humiliate myself to get Rue to laugh.
Yeah.
Like that's what you got to do.
Yeah. And then there was, of course, the meme that we saw this weekend that said Drag Race is just 3 people in their 50s on a judging panel getting angry at millennials for not knowing their references. Which, I mean...
on point correct.
yeah.
I cannot talk like those Zoomers. I swear. I know what they say because I'm not that old, but like at the same time, like I was like, oh, that'll never be
It's
my
honestly,
language.
yeah, it is kind of millennials and Zoomers now. The oldest queen that we have on there is Tamisha. And yeah, so it's still like most of the casts nowadays make up younger generations.
Yeah, definitely. But Rue's pop culture knowledge is still insane.
Insane.
Like, and I think it's because obviously she researches it before episodes, but it's just really good. I think what it is because she was always a good actor, that she researches it and then it's just committed to memory.
You know what the most obscure reference for me that Rue expected a queen to just get and like gave her shit about it the entire season was Miss Fame with the "How's your head" thing. Like, literally that reference is from Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, this movie that, like, it's a campy movie, and yeah, like, gay people should see it, but, like, I can't imagine that, like, many...
What was the line, though? Like,
It
what
was...
does Elvira say?
So the guy is putting up, like, the sign on the marquee for the movie theater because they're gonna have, like, a horror-themed movie night, and Elvira is gonna host. And she's walking under, and he drops a letter, and it hits her on the head. And he goes, "Oh, how's your head?" And then she goes, "Oh, I haven't had any complaints." And so Rue expected Miss Fame to get every single time she asked her, "How's your head?" to respond like Elvira and would just laugh at her when she wouldn't get it.
That's so mean.
I'm like,
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was from.
Yeah, it's from that movie.
I know it's supposed to be an innuendo joke, but I didn't know what it was from.
It's literally from that movie.
Oh, for the love. No queer kid nowadays watches that.
I mean, I did, but only because, and after I was like a big fan of, probably after that season I watched it. I don't even know if I watched it before that season.
Yeah, so just terrorize this makeup mogul just because you just
don't understand the reference.
God, that's so mean. Now it's even worse for me. And even like Cher, for instance. Like now Tamisha is older, so she should have known more Cher songs, honestly. Because part of what Rue had asked Tamisha was, "Are you a Cher fan?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Well, name 4 Cher songs that are not Believe." And she couldn't name any, but I will also chalk that up to anxiety as well. Like I know plenty of Cher songs, but I would have completely blanked, obviously being called out on the spot like that. And then she did like say, and then Tamisha said, well, I would have, if you said any of these people, I would have known right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And the thing is, lots of queers are fans of Cher, but they don't really listen to her music.
Tamisha did a really good job in this challenge too.
I think
she was funny.
I think she did good, but it was very directed.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. But I think once she took direction, she did a good job.
Yes.
Yeah.
And which makes sense for a pageant girl. A pageant girl, like, you'll be like, walk over there, smile at the judges, wave with your left hand, do your pinky, and then walk to the right. So I think
they'll get it all down.
They'll get it all down. And so I think with great direction, like, she did do a good job because of that. But yeah, even Rue was like, because Rue is such a fan of Cher, and I just have to throw this out there. And I know we said it in an earlier episode, and I know we're getting fans, so you might have already heard me say this before. But when Cher was on the Rupaul show, is the most cringy and awkward moment I have ever watched.
I haven't seen it.
It's so bad. So Rue decides to play a game with Cher to talk about like what guys she would want to sleep with, like that, which is such a ridiculous game for this, like, you know, famous artist or whatever.
This diva.
And so she just starts listing off names or whatever, and and it's really awkward because Cher just doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's just like, him, whatever, that one, I guess, whatever, I maybe would. I don't
Yeah.
know, they're weird. Like, Cher was just not
Over it.
she was so over it. She thought it was a
Yeah.
waste of her time because it wasn't anything that was special.
Yeah.
Like, and so Rue obviously is obsessed with Cher, but not everybody else is obsessed with Cher.
Yeah.
Like, it's just sorry, it's not
Yeah.
a thing.
Well, if you're gay, you're supposed to be.
I know. Well, if you were gay in the 90s, you were supposed
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like gays nowadays are obsessed with like Gaga still. Like
Yeah.
that would be the biggest like gay
Cher
icon.
equivalent. Yeah, Madonna's definitely done too many problematic things for the gays to stick around and like her
Yeah.
over the years. But yeah, Gaga's kind of like everyone's new queen.
Yeah. So, but Gaga also doesn't have any things that make her like she doesn't have that voice like Cher does and things like that to like be able to embody her.
Yeah.
Anyway, long tangent.
Yeah.
So Tamisha Iman was Cher.
Yeah.
And she did a good job as like the little fortune teller. And then at the end, obviously, she Jeffrey Boyer Chapman appears again, which is a thing that they decided to do.
A thing that they decided to do. They're really just shoving Jeffrey Boyer Chapman down our throats. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So the people I thought who did well out of all three groups was Kandy Muse did super good, and I also laughed at Kandy Muse.
I did when she was acting crazy, and I loved it.
Yeah, as like a clown character, and it was just really funny. And
Yeah.
it was the reason it was funny is because it, like I said before, the humiliation aspect.
Yeah.
Symone's was actually good acting.
Yeah.
Because she has a twang, and so we're kind of laughing at her more so than with her, because I don't know how much of it is intentional. Because like factory,
Yeah.
like
victory.
she obviously came up to do that because she said it every time she talked about it. But it's also just something that doesn't. It just seems like it was part of her character.
Yeah.
So it's like we're laughing at her with Kandy Muse. We're like laughing with her and the character she portrayed, and so
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's get to we'll go to the dressing room while they're getting ready for the runway. And then we learn again that Tamisha has kids.
Yes.
And she's old as dirt.
Yep. She's talking about how like her youngest is in their mid-30s.
Yeah. And she named her drag name is after her oldest daughter, which I thought that was actually really kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And actually listening to Tamisha talks and how she handles herself, she's more so on Rue's level than I think she realizes. Not in the sense of like the fame, but like just the presence, I guess. It's like it's very older. It's like it's reserved a little bit.
She's definitely an observer. She sits back and she kind of like takes it all in and then reacts, which I think is something that definitely comes with being older and more mature. Is you have
absolutely.
I think when you're younger, you tend to be a more reactive person, and Tamisha is definitely a level-headed kind of observer of the group, and she kind of like tests the waters a bit before she jumps into things, which I think is a smart way to be, especially in the competition.
Absolutely. And so there wasn't really too much of a highlight of the dressing room beforehand than that.
Yeah.
So moving on to the main stage, which was trains. Do you remember that drama that happened that when RuPaul like said I support trans people and she did a picture of like the train flag, not trans flag?
No.
Yeah, she did that a long time ago. It was very problematic. Apparently RuPaul supports trains. Like it was really bad.
She really did that?
Yeah.
Oh God. I had no idea that happened.
Yeah, she did fat fingering trains flag into anyway.
Oh gosh.
So the main challenge was trains. And so going through, the person who obviously I thought was the best for the most creative was Denali.
I loved the like bird of paradise kind of. Yeah,
a very long train, and it was gorgeous. The one I didn't like, and it was either Elliot or Joy J's. Whoever was in the white.
Oh, that was Elliot's.
I didn't like that.
Off the rack kind of.
It because it was too simple. It was like I'm wearing this beautiful bodysuit, and then I put a belt on that has a white train.
It looked like something that you would get. I mean, if you're from Portland, then you know kind of the story. I think it actually, unfortunately, ended up shutting down during COVID, but Spartacus would have items like that, and it looked like something that was bought from the window at Spartacus for me.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, great, it's constructed well, but it's something that I could see 10 other queens walking around
Oh,
in.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I was kind of disappointed by that. And because it was obviously beautiful makeup, beautiful hair. I actually didn't like Joey J's as much until I did see that it was like a full tongue and with a tongue ring and everything. I thought that was really cool and creative.
I thought it was too. I'm going to finally give Joey J some props. What Joey J was wearing is definitely something that I could see. It looks like something that I myself would have constructed and worn.
Right.
And I have to give them props for that because I think that it was very unique. Like the whole like tongue, everyone's into like the whole like faces on bodies and like tongues and eyes and stuff like that. I thought it was a really neat way to incorporate the train. And the color scheme was cool. I thought there were some fit issues kind of with a little bit of the outfit. It definitely looked like it was made, but that's what I like. I would rather see an outfit like Joey J wore on the runway 10 times than something that Elliot is wearing where it looks like it was bought from a store.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you could see, a bunch of other queens wearing the exact same thing. So
Agreed. Honestly, agreed.
Yeah.
The ones that I really enjoyed outside of Denali's, Simone's I really liked with the do-rag.
Oh, the do-rag. Yes, that was iconic. What a way to do a train, too.
Oh, that was so very smart.
Yeah.
Like insanely smart.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, and of course the outfit was simple as hell, but you get away with it with that personality though.
Yeah.
Like, because it was like flared jean pants or whatever to show the heels, and then it was like a jacket like that had a off the shoulder, and it was like a corset underneath, and then it was just the do-rag.
Was it Ross in the episode that said it, or was it? I might have been just on social media and someone said it. But I feel like Ross might have said it, that we'll see Rihanna wearing something like this.
Oh, it must have been on social media.
Yeah. Because I definitely I think that Symone has such a unique point of perspective when it comes to fashion. A lot of it is very 90s inspired, very R&B, and it has just like a really unique flair to it that it's like adding this campiness and this dragginess to this like really particular type of style. I think it just works for her. And we've seen it even on outfits where it's like it definitely could be a miss, and she's had some outfits that are pretty polarizing. Like for instance, the nighttime look that she served when, half the people really liked it and half the people didn't. But I think it's better to be polarizing than it is to be boring. So,
oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Because I hated the one look I didn't like was Kandy Muse's outfit on the runway.
Oh yeah, that wasn't great.
And I guess he constructed it that day, but my problem with it was the front didn't leave any shape.
Yeah.
And like normally when you get away with that, because like in those Asian garments where it's like Chun-Li would wear, how it hangs down in the front and whatever, but it hangs down lower. Where hers was hanging was like kind of like right at the stomach area.
Yeah.
So it like ruined any shape that she could have, even though it was on a corset. So the front is actually where I was getting really lost. The judges obviously didn't like it because you could see undergarments, of course.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why she would have wore the panty, because I would have just not worn it and have a high thigh on it is what I would have done. But
there are little things I want to see Kandy Muse fix throughout the competition that are kind of like rubbing me a little bit wrong, and it's little details. It's like the hole in the back for the nighttime look that she served earlier on in the season.
Oh yeah,
and then the undergarment showing underneath this look. I want Kandy Muse to go in and clean up some of those rough edges, because there's no real excuses for having that on the main stage of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Right.
And I get that as someone who has like a fuller figure too, it's harder to find things that are seamless, like a lot of the skinny girls have, where they can rock, their own body and it'll look just fine,
Right.
For me especially, like I have a pretty like masculine body type, so finding ways to shape that body and make it like appear as something that has a little bit more curve to it, it's something that's difficult. And I can't get away with wearing things that show a whole lot of skin, because I'm shaping my body, like using body shapers and using things to try and pull this figure together. Yeah. And so I get the struggle that she's going through. All I want to see is like just a little bit more thought put into like making sure that those undergarments aren't showing and that the look is a little more seamless and presented well, like the other girls are able to do.
Yeah, I get that. The other one that I didn't like as much, that I liked and didn't like was Tamisha's. It was so middle of the road for me.
I
And
can't
so was
remember
Rosé's.
Tamisha's. Oh, that's bad.
It was just because it was just.
Oh, it was another pink thing,
It was
right?
pink, and it had like a little tutu thing on it, and then it went to the tutu into like a little bit of.
You know what it looked like? It looked like the exact same material as her pink daytime look.
Yes.
Yeah, except a different style.
Yes, and I wasn't super in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one too was Rosé. I don't understand what Rosé's thing is with that shoulder nonsense. I don't.
Yeah, I didn't like Rosé's either.
Like
It kind of it got lost for me. I don't know. I think there was a little bit too much volume at the top of it or something. I don't know. I just I had some issues with the styling of Rosé's outfit.
Yeah.
Cool concept. I
Cool
think it was
concept,
very
absolutely
80s.
cool.
I liked the whole mullet thing. Like, I would definitely rock that hair. Speaking of hair, too, can we talk about how Kandy Muse's hairline was, like, very far down in the front?
Yeah.
I don't, I get what it's like to want to make your forehead appear smaller, but can that be a thing that queens stop doing? Like, wear a bang.
Wear a bang.
Or don't wear your lace all the way down to your brow.
Yeah, a lot of queens have been doing that recently.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about.
I don't either.
So last but not least, actually there was a couple more, but Kamora Hall.
Yes.
Her outfit was amazing.
Gorgeous. I loved
Oh my god.
the dragons on the shoulders and even the tail. Yeah.
That's how you do a train, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
That was great. And then obviously Utica's was just interesting.
It was inspired by Carol Burnett, and she kind of did her own twist on it. So it was referential. It was a referential look, and yeah, it was. I thought it was good. It wasn't my favorite, but it was a good look.
So tops and bottoms ended up being so the bottoms were Kamora and Denali, and specifically on both fronts it was because of the acting challenges.
Yeah,
because both of those outfits were amazing for the runway. And then the tops were Symone and actually who was the other top? It was just so clear that Symone was gonna get it.
Kandy was the other top, but her outfit.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Kandy was the other top.
Yeah, there was one more, but I can't quite remember who it was for who the third one was. But yeah, so Symone walked away with the win again. So that makes Symone, she's won 2 challenges now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and Lala Ree was the other bottom.
Yeah.
But Lala Ree's runway was amazing. The snakeskin covered mask thing, which I thought was just fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, obviously
I loved her look.
Yeah, the look was great, but the acting challenges was rough. So
yeah.
But she was safe.
Her and Denali, I think, were both pretty comparable to their performance. And they both had good looks on the runway. So it was like it's kind of a matter of preference. Like, who, in your opinion, did worse? Lala Ree or Denali? It really could have been a toss-up between either of them. I think it was pretty solid that Kamora was the main one.
Yeah, I do. But what's so funny about that is this outcome would not have changed no matter who was on the stupid.
No, it wouldn't have. It wouldn't have.
Okay, so let's talk about this lip sync.
Yeah.
Like, the fact is, so Denali, yeah, she's a dancer or whatever, but she also did not drag moves most of the whole time almost.
Yeah.
Like, she did some here and there and whatever and was flipping around, but she took off her train and then started dancing and getting down with it. And Kamora just didn't want to, as the internet said, didn't want to rip that dress.
No, she didn't.
She didn't want to hurt that dress.
Yeah. And rightfully so. It was really beautiful, but I mean, you have to understand what's at stake. And the thing is, if Kamora would have been able to rip it anyway, she wouldn't have been able to outdance Denali.
Yeah, honestly, I felt so bad for her. That would have just, actually, the thing is, most of them were wearing gowns. Actually, I really wish they would really understand that what the challenge is. Like, let's pick a song to where you could move in an evening dress.
Yeah, or be prepared on your runways to have a reveal, a tearaway.
Yeah, but you would have to make them into every costume.
I know.
Oh gosh, that'd be so awful.
Yeah.
But honestly, the bottom part of that thing could have came off.
Yeah.
I think, but she just didn't go for it, and oh man, Kamora got slayed.
Yeah, she did. She got eaten up.
God, she was beaten down. It was hard to watch.
One of the best lip sync performances from a single performer, though. I mean, Denali pulled out all the stops, and I did watch the Untucked, and Denali made the statement, all of the moves that I was planning on saving for later in the season, I'm going to use them now. So she's like, if they were going to be surprised by anything, like now is the time that I'm going to surprise them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So and she did. She turned it out. We already saw her do really well in the lip sync against Rosé. And also in Untucked too, Rosé was talking to Denali and was like, I saw what you did against me. She's like, you slayed against me. She's like, I know that you're going to win this. So just get out there and do what you did against me and you'll have no problem. And she did that and more. So
yeah. Oh, she showed that she wanted to be there. And that was really amazing.
Yeah.
And honestly, at this point, it does look like Symone is probably going to be in the top.
Yeah.
I can see if Tamisha can like stay consistent, she'll probably be up there too in top 4 at least.
Yeah. For me, I think Symone is kind of untouchable. I think for me, it's like Symone already has a placement in the top 4.
Olivia Lux is the other one that I feel really... God, I can't even remember what she wore on the runway.
I can't either. Gosh.
Yeah, but...
I do adore her.
Yeah, I love her, and she's a great smile. And she has that same Symone/Bob the Drag Queen personality when she smiles and she's like getting into it.
But she's a little green. She's a little fresh.
She's a little green, and I don't know if she'll make it all the way to the end with that. So
yeah,
I'm really interested to see what will happen next episode. I think Lala Ree. I feel like she's like getting closer to the bottom.
Yeah,
and Elliot with 2 T's.
I believe from the preview, next week's is a outfit construction episode. So it'll be interesting to see who succeeds in that and who kind of falls to the bottom. I think, obviously, I'm excited to see what Tamisha makes.
Yes.
Because she's made stuff all her career, and we saw that gold beauty that she presented to us on the runway for this year.
It's beautiful. It's just beautiful.
So I'm excited to see what she brings. I don't really know much. Utica. I'm excited to see what Utica brings because
absolutely.
She's also another constructor. So I'm excited to see those that have those talents, make them come to life in the next episode, and hopefully they do really well, and we see some different placements, and it's not just Symone winning all season, but if that were the case. Great for Symone.
Absolutely. So as we get closer to the end of this episode, as me and Donna said that we'll do at the end of the episode nowadays, Donna, what are you wearing this evening?
I'm actually just a giant tongue. No piercing, though. No piercing. Just a giant tongue with googly eyes.
Yeah, it's been alarming this whole time.
Yeah. I really enjoy licking things, and it's kind of a fetish and dark side of myself I haven't been able to bring out with all that's happened with COVID. So I just figured if I can't lick things, I'll just be the tongue. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So my look is inspired by kiddie pools, so that's why this like bottom I'm wearing is just all really large kiddie pools.
Oh, lovely.
And then the top is a floaty going around my boobs. And then my head is made out of those foam wigs. So it's not quite the same material as the boob thing or whatever. But yeah, I just was feeling like really fanciful. So in January, I decided to wear kiddie pools.
Yeah, nice. Well, I mean, if this rain picks up and there's a flood, we know you're good.
Yeah, I can't wait till somebody create that for me.
Right.
Oh, good deal.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in for this recap of this episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. We'll be back next week where we'll recap that. And you can also tune in for our main episodes that air every Thursday. We're going to have some really exciting interviews for you here coming up.
Yeah. So be sure to tune in.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
This has been another episode of A Gem of a Secret podcast. The hosts of A Gem of a Secret podcast are Donatella My Secrets and Coco Gem Holiday. You may follow Donatella My Secrets at Donatella_My Secrets on Instagram. You may follow Coco Gem Holiday at Coco Gem Holiday on Instagram. Original music by Touche Douche and Party Favors. You can follow them respectively at The Touche Douche and at Party Favors Music on Instagram. For more exclusive content, visit www.agemofasecretpodcast.com. That is AJEM of a secret podcast.com. Be sure to tune in every week on Thursday for a new episode wherever you listen to podcasts. If you have any comments or questions, email us at agemofasecretpod@gmail.com. Please don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe. Until next time, goodbye.